Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I'm your host, Colors Fade. It's episode 61, and we have something to address here. First, we do need to level up a few more companions, but Jeffrey Drapier was so kind as to leave a comment on a video around episode 35 where he said, hey, isn't High Factotum Janrus Danrock available to work as an intermediary when it comes to buying and selling items from the different factions? And I thought, I did not know that. I don't think he is, but let me check. And I did, and guess what? That's what he does. So if you go, I would like to order the shipping and transportation of some goods, and it'll bring you right here, which is wonderful. Casbalic mission, we have up to 22, which is nice. So if we want to go straight there, we could see all his stuff. Oh, how nice. He's got a storm bolter, two-handed. Don't need ironclad argument. The wearer gains 12 coercion. The vortex pendant. The wearer gains +5 willpower every time they choose an ally or themselves as the target of an ability. This effect remains until the end of combat and it stacks. The curse bringer 14 to 20, which is really nice. When it hits, the target must pass a willpower resistance test or suffer 3 levels of warp burn. So that'll be a nice sword for me or Heinrich's. Heavy Xenomesh. This is an Abelard kind of thing, except +2 deflection against non-human enemies. So you want to have Abelard with you. The Roar, which is 15 to 23, 40% armor, and it does armor penetration, and it does 10 additional toxin damage. Nice little sniper rifle for somebody. The Mesopattern sniper rifle. Solid projectile weapons have increased over penetration, additional hit chance, dodge reduction. It's a nice rifle. The Blade Dancer's Mantle. This is what I like. Death from above deals an additional 15 flat mental damage. And the Blade Dancer's Bracers. Each hit made with the Blade Dance increases the wearer's critical chance by 14% until the end of the wearer's turn, which is fantastic. Bane of Sorrow, Aldari. This is for Yearliet. Dodge reduction, additional hit chance, 22 to 32. The rifle deals an additional +33 damage to Drukhari enemies. So that's a real nice weapon for her to have if we're going to take her into Chapter 3. Warp Surge Brooch. In the first round of combat, the wearer gains a number of additional attacks equal to their psi rating. It's one of my favorite things for my character or Heinrich's to have. And then we finally do get the Red Crystal Staff. The first attacking navigator power each turn costs 1 AP less. Devastating. The first use of an attacking navigator power each turn does not set the power on cooldown and does not count toward the attack limit per turn. And then it's got a bunch of willpower bonuses. So Vladium has given us all the things that we want. So what we need to do is go through here and put that stuff on. Date from newest. This is what I want. So Warp Surge Brooch, I can either grant 15 Medicae or if the wearer did not move. So the hidden auto stimulant is not really that important for us. If the wearer did not move during their turn, we're always moving. So we want to replace that one, the hidden auto stimulant. And we're going to get a number of attacks in the first turn equal to our psi rating, which is fantastic. The Blade Dancer's Mantle. Let's get Kibella. So the wearer gains her old Cloak of Retribution, gains 15% bonus to damage against enemies that dealt damage to the wearer this round. But this is just a flat 12 mental damage from Death from Above, and since she uses Death from Above so much, that ends up being awesome. So Jeffrey, thank you so much for pointing that out. That made it a lot easier, and that allows us to check. We were thinking we were going to have to do a few more things before we went to Footfall. We could just check straight from the bridge, which is really nice. This, her old gloves. Whenever the wearer kills an enemy, the enemy explodes in a fountain of blood, which is nice, but we have an ability that allows us to just do that anyways. Each hit made with Blade Dance increases the wearer's critical hit chance. We'd rather have that because then she can really smack the crits around. We got these Caligay of St. Keith. Whenever the wearer performs a heroic act or a desperate measure, they recover all their wounds and gain +2 AP this turn. What is she wearing? Inertia boots. If the wearer's melee attack is dodge, parried, or scores a critical hit, the wearer gains agility bonus MP and does not provoke attack. I'm going to keep those on her because she should be getting more crits, and occasionally people do dodge or parry her attacks. So, all right. 12 coercion. That would be for her. But she's got a... That ring would give her 28 coercion, and the wearer's persuasion is increased by 29. So what is she at? Her persuasion's 197. If you want her coercion to go up... Okay, let's do that. Now she's got a 168 persuasion and a 128 coercion. That should be ample. The Singed Cape. What's this based off of? Veil degradation. Right. Okay. Willpower. Wearer gains +5 willpower each time they choose an ally for themselves. Pagos. What's he got? Requires conviction heretical +4 maximum wounds. When veil degradation is above 15 plus toughness, each round the wearer regenerates wounds equal 1. No, I'd rather him have this then. Because that's not the greatest thing in the world for him to have. Let's see what else there is for him here. This amulet reduces all toxic damage suffered. If the wearer has heretical votary, it also heals 1 wound each time they suffer toxic damage. That's not important. Persuasion, don't care about. Grants lore warp and lore Xenos. Not that important for him. Negates all energy damage dealt to the wearer, but cannot occur more than 3 times per combat. And then the rest of the stuff. Okay, so we're good. So let's level some people up. Let's start with Abelard. And we'll run over here to the Excel spreadsheet and say, Abelard, what are you doing for your last thing before Exemplar? Unyielding Guard 2. Until the start of the Vanguard's next turn, each attack made by the Vanguard makes them a priority target for the enemy hit by that attack. That's pretty good. Until the end of combat, all allies in the 3-cell radius around the Vanguard suffer less damage. That's not a big deal. A lot of times you don't have any allies near him. Until the end of combat, the Vanguard gains fellowship bonus momentum for each attack that hits them. Fellowship bonus momentum. Abelard, what is your fellowship bonus? It's not very much. It's a measly +3. So yeah, let's go with number 2 and make him... He needs to be the priority target. That's the big deal with him. Heinrichs, you're probably going to get the same thing that I was, which is Carnival of Misery. Oh, I said Carnival of Misery 4 for him. Till the end of combat, all executioner's allies are healed by damage over time effects instead of suffering damage. The number of wounds restored is equal to the amount of damage that would be dealt. So I picked that for him because he's different than me. He's the same class as me, basically. And if I'm going to have him in the party with me, I don't necessarily want him doing exactly the same thing that I do. So I'm going to grab that for them. But his odds of ending up in the party anyway are really slim. Because we just have so many other people that are more interesting at this point in time. Idira, Pyromage. Your last Carnival of Misery is going to be Carnival of Misery 2. Whenever choosed, all enemies suffering from any damage over time effects immediately suffer additional instance. Yeah. Let's do that. That ends up being fairly powerful. For the Arch Militant Argenta, she gets Steady Superiority 2. Until the end of combat, every attack grants a stacking +2 bonus to critical hit chance. Yeah, until the end of combat. Although you can... That's not as big of a deal because you can guarantee crits for her. The first time in combat that the Arch Militant reaches 0 wounds, while under the effect of Steady Superiority or Heroic Sacrifice, the Arch Militant restores 20% of their maximum wounds, or until the end of combat, the Arch Militant's attacks do not spend MP. Additionally, each attack grants a stacking +5 bonus to dodge for 1 round. I'm going to stick with this. It's almost useless again with her because, like I said, she can get guaranteed crits with her abilities set up the way they are, but we'll do that. Wild Hunt for her is upgrade number 1. Prior to the attack, all prey suffer a percentage penalty to armor until the end of combat. Otherwise, the bounty hunter gains agility bonus movement points, which we don't care, and restores 3 charges of hunt down the prey, which is okay. All prey has its MP reduced. I don't really care about that. Penalty to armor is great, especially if you're going to play an unfair. You want anything that penalizes armor. So, those guys are taken care of. We can go over here now. And we can see about this place. Telecos, excellent. Actually, we needed to go to where? Silence of Murs, Sergit, or something like that. Hiding from the law. Silence of Murs, Sergit. That's where we needed to go. I thought we'd put ourselves there at the end of last episode, but I guess not. Oh, there it is. Okay. We'll travel. What are we doing over here? There's a smuggler's cache. Where is it? Right here? Yep, okay. The desert world. Smuggler's cache. What do we get from that? A bunch of stuff and the focusing lens. Firing range of lance weapons is reduced by -5, but their damage is increased by 30%. That's interesting. I've never picked that up before. Oh, we can add more. 605. Wow. So what do we have here? Compound void shield ray. 120 points of protection for each sector. All right, we'll do that. And we'll keep that one because I don't know. The problem is I don't know what constitutes an enemy blast attack. This plasma drive provides 12 speed. In addition, it grants 3 additional void movement points when ramming. Don't care. Add to cargo. Provides void ship weapons with targeting data. 90% hit chance, 10% critical hit chance. Additionally, provides allies with targeting data increase their lance weapons and macro cannon damage. We'll take that. What's this one? 85 and 10. This low emission auger, which makes the void ship more difficult for enemies to increase in evasion by 15%. I'm gonna go with what we've got. Targeting data. These are 3 for 33 for a total of 99, and we already have that on our left side, on our port side. So Promethean mortar, medium range dorsal macro cannons. Those are junk. Long range lance dealing 45 to 55. The damage is the most important thing. Bomber's deck, I don't use them. Fighter deck, I don't use them. Black ammo arsenal, never figured out how to make it work. Disruption allows ionic blast to be fired from plasma macro cannons. What does this up here? Maintenance deck. Enhances the installed power generator. Ionic blast never score critical hits. Thanks. Well, we never score critical hits anyways. When hit, the ionic blast immediately removes the target shields from 3 sides, excluding the side furthest from the attacker, and inflicts the ionic effect on the target, reducing its hit and critical chance during the next round. That's kind of a nice thing to have instead of 10 hull integrity. I wonder about not getting the critical hits though. Firing range of lance weapons is reduced by -5. Boy, that makes them really short, doesn't it? But their damage is increased by 30%. And we already have a medium range one. I don't think that's necessary. Besides, we're just going to be blowing most stuff up. So it doesn't matter. Because we're just going to be toy boxing most of this stuff. All right. Let's see what we're at then. Call of the Edge. We don't have to do it. Retain the sword sarge for the future complete development of the projects. Incident. Yeah, Nomos we have to wait for. And then throne room of the palace. That's what we have. The only thing left is, do we have any planetary projects? That gave us a bunch of stuff. Cemetery of the Faithful. There's nothing here. I don't think there's anything else we can do. So you know what? It may be time to move to chapter 3. The motive force is life. Profit factor. We can do flawless servitors, which give us battle servitors, or vigil of the tech guards. The rogue trader gains +10 tech use, but I don't care. It gives you plus security, which is nice. This gives you profit factor and efficiency. Battle servitors are so if the ship in ship encounters, the rogue trader squad is supported by friendly combat servitors. First of all, they're really slow, and you're going to outpace them anyway, and there's only like 2 of them. And it's only during ship encounters that happen when you travel the orange travel lines, whatever you want to call those, the travel routes. So it's kind of dumb. 2 profit factor is nice, but I would almost rather have the security here. The only problem I have with this is that the rogue trader gains 10 tech use. If it was everybody else, let's grab the profit factor. You should probably always grab that when we can. Dogonas. Nothing going on there. And Vibos. They have the underground workers things, which we're not going to do. We're not going to give up a mechanism for 3+ steel. I don't see a point in doing that. So let's head to Dargonis and go do right here. Talk to the Master of Ceremonies. It's a shorter way to go up here, isn't it? You know what we can do? We can make this safe. We've got the points to spend, so why not? Is there anywhere we haven't visited? Because that's the other thing. If there's somewhere that we haven't visited, we should probably do it before Chapter 3. Port of Septimium we don't want to go to, though. This has a cache on Kiava Gamma. Why is that still there? Why is that still there? Manufactorum. Cache. Eye of the Magnetic Storm. These are rumors. Unidentified void ship. Stolen stars. Xenos on the rampage. Whispers on football about Xenos. Angels of the Emperor in the Expanse. Cache in the former lantern. Footfall's great cathedral was never built. The turret that would have crowned its colossal dome is now located in the atrium where it serves as the chapel of St. Drusus. There may be an ancient cache inside it. Eye of the Magnetic Storm. Which, yeah, we can't, there's nothing we can do there. Burning Worlds with the Kazbalican ship. King Killer. So those are like, that's a completed one. The Navica. Abandoned on Foulstone by the Navica's detestable captain, the refugees were forced to seek shelter and appeal to the stern hermits from the Order of the Hammer, followers of St. Cognatius. Oh, that's show completed quest. Okay. Who left is there? An outpost in the Forgotten Twins is in need of resources. Provisions. Forgotten Twins. How many provisions do we have? Forgotten Twins? Right there. Okay, what the hell? Let's go see. We're gonna spend some points here. We can spend... Let's do this. If we spend 1 point here and 1 point here, we can make both of these safe instead of just the one route there. Got all these points, we might as well spend them now. Let's see about this rumor. Not all rumors result in a quest that you can complete. So, that's kind of the issue. Because they're rumors. The cogitator screen highlights the shapes of several buildings. This small settlement, the only one on the planet, is a winter-scale dynasty outpost. Proctor Anthar requests permission to land with a squad. According to his intelligence, there may be smugglers hideout in the vicinity of the settlement. Illegal transports are of little interest to the Proctor, but the criminals have been caught in an attack on the Arbites convoy. The heretics who survived that skirmish will soon learn that there is no escaping justice. Allocate a shuttle to Solomon to search for the criminals. On his return, the Proctor reports that the squad managed to locate the hatch leading to the underground hideout and force open the passage with explosives. But your people found nothing in the dark tunnels save deathly silence and the stench of rotting corpses. Solomon surmises that the hatch jammed, and the heretics met an agonizing death by starvation, as evidenced by the complete absence of any provisions and their gnawed leather belts. The Arbiter ordered the remaining supplies in the hideout to be loaded into your shuttle. Send out a party to raid the outpost. Seneschal Wasurian privately informs you that such escapades are not uncommon among road traders. The settlements that belong to rival dynasties are often considered fair game. Your soldiers and officers take to the task quickly, efficiently, and seemingly not without pleasure. Shuttles return with loot, leaving behind the smoking remains of the settlement, and we get a needle rifle, which is kind of not a big deal. Okay. Alright, well, yeah, this might be a cleanup episode then. We're going to clean everything up before we do the head to Chapter 3. Colony on Kiava Gamma has reached a new stage of development, so Lord Captain, after the unsealing of Lady Theodora's secret workshop on Kiava Gamma, an epidemic of mysterious tech leprosy has broken out. Augments mutate into distorted forms, killing their hosts. Machines and even entire assembly halls break apart into fragments that devour each other, fusing into grotesque and insane forms. The Omega-18 Manufactorum, the epicenter of the epidemic, is cordoned off, but the disease will burst out of there sooner or later. What is known about this disease? We have not faced anything like this before. The plague only affects mechanisms, forcing them to transform and lose all functionality. No one has been able to provide insight into the nature of this disease and how it found its way into Lady Theodora's secret workshop. It is possible that some secret research was being carried out there. What do my advisors say? The eradication of the infection is the highest priority, but to completely eradicate the Manufactorum serving as the epicenter is to inflict serious damage to the resource supply. This unit, I can propose another method of purging. However, the sacraments of the Omnissiah that are available to me cannot be revealed to the laity. I ask that you place your trust in me. Shireen, do not be so hasty with this purge. The phenomenon may be of interest to other specialists. There are many who do not agree that all knowledge belongs solely to cogs. What appears to be a plague could hold amazing possibilities. If we could isolate the Manufactorum and let these inquisitive minds aside, they would happily compensate us for the loss of production capacity. I have suppressed 18 different epidemics aboard the flagship, and our officers have experience in setting up quarantines. We will send them to Kiava Gamma to lead the tech purgator squads. They will not return from the epicenter until the infection is eradicated and the preventative exclusion zone is taken down. Even mental dies eventually, scarred by corrosion. To combat those who have stripped away their flesh and replaced it with machinery, the blood-spun web has procured a remedy, an acidic compound that burns through steel. We stand ready to help, to burn out this tech leprosy. Okay, what's Pascal get me? Refugees from the Lost Manufactorum. The tech priests who survived the tech leprosy outbreak have proven their worth and thus earned the right to serve aboard the Road Crater ship, plus 20 to all Void Shield sectors. Demise of Metal. All allies deal plus 10 more damage to machines and targets with the Reject the Flesh feature. Secret comp, yeah, so we're going to want that. Healer of Metal. Enemies suffer minus 5% to their armor penetration. Okay, and then isolate the Manufactorum. The Casbalica mission gets 5,000. We get a profit factor of 1. We get the Vessel of Tech Leprosy deals 50 to 100 shot damage with 30% armor penetration. It's a consumable. It also inflicts 2 stats of Perplexed until the end of combat. At the start of each of the target's turns, it gains an additional stack of Perplexed. I would like that just for the Casbalica mission reputation points, but here's the thing. If you've never played the game before, you don't know this, but towards the end of the game, the last chapter is all about fighting machines. So we're definitely going to do this. Cabela, let the spinners share their secret. Death is the same for all things, only the undying one is eternal. The Kiava Gamma Manufactorums began production of the compound given to them by the Bloodspun Web. In tanks of armor-glass, it was sent to the pockets of the infestation and sprayed on warped machines and affected people. The workshops were cleared of tech mutations. So we get the Flawless Servitors, and then we're done there. There shouldn't be anything else. Oh no, rank 3, we still got Inferno and Armored Rage. Lord Captain's Void Ship gains the Armored Prow feature. Don't care about that, but it does give us profit factor. Minus 3 security though. Armored Rage, we get the Triforge Lance Weapon, which is 84 to 98, which is nice if you're going to have a Lance Weapon, plus 2 profit factor, and 9 weapons, which we actually needed. And then Unwelcome Guest, the Lord Captain's Void Ship gains the Eye of the Omnissiah features. Enemies suffer minus 10 to their percent to their evasion. You get profit factor, less efficiency, and a bunch of mechanisms. We'll do Armored Rage. All right. So, let's travel. Let's go this way. So there's this thing down here, the Eye of the Magnetic Storm, and I don't think there's anything that we can actually do about it right now. Foulstone Colony event requires the Lord Captain's presence. So where is Foulstone again? Let's check. Foulstone is in Trinitos. Right there, where we are actually. What luck. We could not have gotten any luckier. Foulstone. Just me over here guzzling coffee. Blasphemous Drukhari Xenos have assaulted the colony and are now rampaging through it, driven by the desire to eviscerate the entire world. Enter battle. Okay. Well, you know how we're going to do this? We're going to F10 our way through this and use Toy Box. Part of the reason is because this particular encounter is extra annoying. The Drukhari block a lot of your flagship post abilities. Again, it's Alcat giving you something and then taking it away from you, which is a design tactic that I really hate in video games. Alcat is one of the worst at it, so we're not even going to mess with it. We're just going to bring up Toy Box and be done with it. I did think it was interesting that somebody in the comments, I can't remember who, brought up the point that they watched somebody else playing Rogue Trader right now, and that person has the Lex Imperialis DLC installed as well, and they're not having the same kind of torpedo problems that we are. But there is a giant thread in Reddit. I posted a thread. People have responded to it. Loads of players are having issues with the ship combat now, and it has all started from the point of the Lex Imperialis patch that came out the same day the DLC came out. So for now, ship combat, just something we can't worry about it in this game. We just have to F10 it, Toy Box it, and move on. We're just going to try to clean some stuff up this episode, and I'm just going to rant. Because then we get to Act 3, and Act 3 is a kind of drastic departure from this. Points of interest, Augur's Anomaly, okay. There's a drifting void ship. Another burning world. This time the fire comes from within the planet. The perpetual volcanic activity creating powerful cyclones of gases, ash clouds, and soot. Now that you know what to look for, your Augurs easily locate traces of the mysterious underground constructions. The operation is difficult but proceeds without a hitch. The machines make way to the unusual constructions and return carrying priceless samples. Seemingly uninteresting, these plates and weaves of heat-resistant metal cause great excitement among the tech priests. The explorers are convinced that you are holding the artifacts of a unique ancient Xeno civilization the crew is now calling the Builders from the Flame. These creatures were accustomed to the incredibly high temperatures of the burning worlds. They may have been a silicon-based life form or even sentient colonies of bacteria. More evidence is required if research is to continue. Oh, that sounds kind of fun. What's this drifting void ship? Oh! We have combat. Okay. Who do we want to take? That's a good question. I don't know. Argenta, do you want to go, or Idira? Let's take Idira. We haven't taken her in a while. I'm concerned because in a void ship like this, it can be the... Or is this the one we were in before? Is this the one... Yeah, have we already done this? We did. This is nothing new. We already did this a long time ago. Okay. I wish it would just erase that off the map then. Okay. Some parts of this game are hard to imagine. So this is still saying what? Voyage of the Kazbalican ship. Alright. Not getting anything out of that. Kiava Gamma has begun a new stage of development. Lord Captain, a strange anomaly has been detected on Kiava Gamma. A series of orders defined as Procedure 0-C has forced itself into the production algorithms. The servants of the Omnissiah define its execution status as most sacred and therefore follow its instructions to the letter. In just one cycle, cells were erected in all manufactoriums connected by the cogitators, or more precisely, their computing channels. This network forms a pattern similar to those applied to the digital cells of machine spirits. The 0-C procedure commands Magi with an above-average psi receptivity index to enter the cells. Those tech priests who take their seats in the cells fall into a blissful data dream and begin to sing binaric hymns very similar to those that periodically whirred from the warp vox of Cubist Delphram. The performance of the manufactoriums has dropped. Many of the machine god servants have abandoned their posts and are pleading for the privilege of fulfilling Procedure 0-C. But the enforcers have taken custody of the cells and ward these volunteers away from them. What do we know about this procedure? Could it be part of Delpham's legacy? We cannot trace the source of the signal that activated the procedure or identify its purpose. The tech piece opposed the idea of studying the procedure as it violates the sacrament. Supposedly, the minds of the Magi immersed in the cells are involved in some grand-scale computation. The servants of the Omnissiah have tested the planet's cogitational network 7 times and purifying algorithms of varying degrees of severity, proclaiming it clean. Perhaps my advisors have a few words to share. You say these cells need to be filled with high size sensitivity tech priests? Sure, but why use our own servants? Just check out a few remote stations and outposts. Look for cogs who were banished as unfit, and you will find 3 times as many more suitable candidates than in the manufactoriums. Psi receptivity rarely goes hand in hand with high rationality, and such tech priests often end their careers in some backwater. They are singing. It is surprising that your race was able to achieve such a harmonious form of interaction with crafted tools. My kinsmen, too, used psychoacoustic harmonics to guide our creations. I am not a bone singer myself, but I might be able to tell your servants of certain principles that define the sound of the universe. I find this sacrilegious suggestion to be in breach of the Data Unity Protocol. A signal seemingly from nowhere that has the highest execution priority. A perfect weapon for capturing the planet. It should be anathematized, and I am ready to summon a cadre of competent tech sorceress from the Inquisition. Adira's option is going to give us Armor of Refraction, which is heavy armor. +1 deflection, plus 10% to armor. If the wearer has moved during their turn, +2 deflection against human enemies. That's not that great. Yurliet. Secrets of the Ancient Cybersmiths. All allies deal logic more divided by 15% more energy and machine damage. All allies gain +10 lore Xenos and +10 lore Xenos divided by 5 dodge reduction against Xenos. That's kind of nice, but there's security doing that. Study the procedure, secrets of the cybersmiths. And then Heinrichs. Abolisher of Procedure 0. All allies deal +10% more damage to machine creatures, Necron creatures, and targets with the reject the flesh feature. Even the Omnissiah's metal spirits do not dare to force their will upon the rogue trader. We're going to do that. +10% against machines and necro machines is going to be great, so we'll take that. I am familiar with the gifts of the Omnissiah and have personally trained several specialists for the Lord Inquisitor's retinue. There will not be any problems. Execution of the poorly understood Procedure 0-C was forbidden. In their efforts to root out its directives and remove the Magi from the cells, the rogue trader's servants faced resistance, resulting in bloodshed and death. However, the tech sorceress of the Inquisition who arrived on the planet tempered the anger of the Omnissiah servants by confirming the legitimacy of the Lord Captain's actions. And we got profit factor and weapons. So that's done, and I don't think there's anything left here on Falstone. I mean, on Kiaba Gamma, there's not. So, where I want to go is this. There's a cache on Kiaba Gamma. I think that'll be the last thing we have to do this episode. This place you want to save for later. Oh, and then there's this one, Lapidus Mortis, but I don't think that's a big deal. I'll look, though. Actually, you know what? Let's look real quick. What is this called? Lapidus Mortis. There are a couple little things here, nothing major, but we may, if we have time, go do it at the end of this episode. We're pushing it as it is. Let's see about this. See how quickly we can get all this done. Kiava Gamma, there's a cache here. Manufactorium, points of interest detected. There's a cache on Kiava Gamma. Okay, I think I know where this is. Okay, I have added a map to the Excel spreadsheet. I'll show you what it looks like. See right here, here's the map. I put it Kiava Gamma next to the Krenech Kiava Gamma area here, and it shows you this is where you need to be for this particular cache related to the rumor, because there are other caches in the game. So it's down here.
Keep your wits about you.
And it should be this cogitator here. The cyber guard accepts the security codes. And there you go. Cache on Kiava Gamma. We get a door. And some stuff. So whether any of this is any good or not, I don't know. But again, it's goods that you can trade in. Anytime you can trade goods in, there's the Flamer Digiweapon, a marvelous compact weapon in the form of a ring that allows the wearer to fire a flamer shot stream once per combat. It's not even once per turn, it's just once per combat. It's like, I'm gonna waste a slot for that? Just becomes something you can give away. So, that's that. We will now leave Kiava Gamma and we will head out. So we will see if we can do one last thing here. Before calling it a day. And getting ready for chapter 3. We have enough points over here to make these safe, so we might as well. It was discovered that one of the smaller vats in Engine Hall 5, which should have been filled with wastewater, instead contained a liquid that looked like blood. This incident was deemed not to be of serious concern, and everything went back to normal as soon as the ship returned to real space. Because I apparently didn't make that safe, like a big dummy. Okay, warp travel, let's go. So this is Lapidus Mortis. There's some ship combat here. And then a few planets. And there's actually some stuff worth grabbing here. There's 8 plasteel. We have 16 extractium, so we'll grab that. And then there's the enemies of humanity. Oh, which reminds me. There's Xenotech, and since that comes in small numbers, it's worth grabbing. Charred ruins have been detected on the planet's surface. The architecture, building materials, layout, and passages betray their Xenos origin. There are currently no signs of Xeno activity on the planet, and the ruins seem to be abandoned. The burnt husk of an Imperial shuttle has been found in the heart of the ruins. The pilot's remains are badly damaged. It would seem the shuttle smashed into the building at full speed, causing the fire that destroyed it. Sister Argenta believes the crew has found the remains of a martyr who sacrificed themselves to protect humanity from the Xenos threat. She proposes to erect a monument. Jai Hedari is impressed by the dead pilot's bravery and believes they would have been honored to have their equipment serve new generations in the fight against Xenos and heretics. Cabela claims that the pilot's fierce and fearful spirit has not departed the remains to go to the Undying One. She proposes to honor the hero and decorate the bow of the flagship with their bones so that they may continue to fight the enemies of humanity and death. And the Lord Captain orders that the ruins and crash site be left alone. Cabela's option to give you Martyr's Temerity. After being rammed, the enemy void ship deals less I don't care about that. So, Sister Argenta's option here will give you 1,000 reputation points with the Drusians. Jai's option will give you a gun and a pair of boots, which in my notes say neither of which are great. So we're going to go with Sister Argenta's option. Hundreds of crew members disembarked to honor the nameless hero. while many more remain on board to listen to a voxcast of the liturgy in the somber gloom of the decks. Even though the pilot's name is unknown, their sacrifices will be remembered in the hearts of the Imperium's true children. So do that, get the Druzian stuff. There's a Hulk over here. A vigilant member of the Augur crew has detected a small Xenos vessel drifting through the void. The ship is unpowered and shows no signs of being crewed. Send out a boarding shuttle. The squad boarded the vessel without issue. Corrosion has laid waste to the ship's systems, which led to the death of the entire crew. The interior is full of Aldari corpses. No weapons were found on board, and the dead Xenos, judging by their clothing, were not part of any warrior caste, merely the crew of the now defunct ship. The Xenos Yerliet claims to have recognized the symbols on the dead Aldari's clothes. They were civilian refugees from craft world Kruderak. So, more people for that. And then again, because I keep forgetting, there's 2 plasteel here. We had got some weapons last time. At the beginning of this. This is the needle rifle, which I don't think is particularly interesting to anybody. But there was this, the sniper rifle. That's not terribly interesting either. And then there was the roar. Targets hit by this rifle are forced to move 2 cells away from the shooter. That's interesting. And there was the curse bringer. So I have the ancient force sword, which does what? This sword absorbs a part of that damage. Whenever the wielder suffers energy, fire, power, or warp damage, the sword absorbs part of that damage, reducing it by 3%, and the wielder gains 3% armor penetration for the next attack, and it stacks. This sword deals an additional 3 damage. Versus this, which is just weapon hits, the target must pass a willpower resistance test or suffer 3 levels of warp burn. It deals an additional 3 damage. Yeah, I think I'd rather have this thing. Oh, it even looks fancy. Okay. That's cool. And then did we ever give you that staff? We never did. There it is, the red crystal staff. You need that, bud. And then this thing, the heavy maul, we wanted to give to him. I like this idea. Let's give him that thing. Oh my god. Okay. Standard greatsword can go in cargo. There was the Cruel Fate. The weapon gains plus 75% over penetration. Whenever the wielder scores a critical hit, they regain 1 AP. The problem is, Yerliet can't use it. So, but she can use this. Bane of Sorrow. The rifle deals an additional 33% damage to Drukhari enemies. That's the one I wanted. Instead of the Wanderer's Portent. Can only perform Deadeye shots whenever the wielder scores a critical hit. With a single shot attack, they gain an additional attack this turn. And this one, the Silence. The target hits, the weapon must pass a willpower resistance test or B, suffer somatic trauma. I don't care about the trauma. I want this, Bane of Sorrow. So I want this thing because it's going to help against Drukhari enemies. And then Idira could use this weapon, Cruel Fate. She could use that. Detachment from Death. These both do Visions of Death, so, and they're both basically the same weapon. Allies of this staff's wielder have their dodge increase. With the wielder, this staff gains a Vision of Death ability. Power level affects damage. The power enemies suffer minus. I don't care about that. So she could actually use this weapon whenever the wearer scores a critical hit, which wouldn't happen very often, but what the hell, we'll give it to her anyways. Okay. That's a lot of stuff that happened here. Oh, the Singing Spear. The wielder of this staff gains the Consign ability. This ability is also available in its Heroic Act and Desperate Measures version. The wielder's divination psychic powers have a 50% chance not to increase veil degradation. It's 15 willpower. Wow, that's kind of nice. Her willpower bonus is what, 7? Yeah. I almost want her to use this because of the 15 willpower on it. Let's do that. Let's see how that works. Fun. Not that she's going to be... We're going to Act 3, so really this is what it's going to be about, is figuring out what to do with Act 3. What we need to give people. He's got the Warp Guide stuff. Allies gain perception bonus, additional movement points their first turn. Okay. Yep, so we'll just want to make sure everybody's got their stuff, and then we'll go. You still don't have boots? God, do we not have boots for you? Whenever the wearer moves through a cell occupied an enemy, that never happens. Whenever the wearer hits an opening with a charge, slash, or dance macabre, nope. Whenever the wearer performs a heroic act or desperate measure, that's not going to happen for you. Movement points by 3. That's what you get. Okay. And then what are my boots? Whenever the wearer deals damage to an enemy, it has 25% chance to gain 2 movement points. Oh, man. I feel like I need to switch that with her. Whenever the wearer's melee attack is dodge, parried, or scores a critical hit, they gain agility bonus movement points. You know what? You're getting these boots. These are better for her. 25% chance to gain more movement points. Because she gets so many more attacks than I do. She gets so many more attacks than I do. And then what I'm going to take is... Whenever they perform a heroic act or a desperate measure, they recover all their wounds and gain 2 AP. Agility bonus movement points and doesn't... Whenever the wearer's melee attack is dodge, parried, or scores a crit. I kind of want that movement ability. Okay. That's what we'll hang with for now. Alright. Enemies of humanity and one more planetoid. And then this episode can be over. I think there's something on this planetoid. It's adamantine, and it's only 2, but we're going to grab it. Let's go take care of these guys. The Drukhari. I'm not sure if all Drukhari nerf your abilities at the beginning of every fight. Nope, they don't. Okay. What do we got? We got guys behind us? Oh, these are Aldari. They're not Drukhari. That's why. I think the Drukhari always nerf your abilities. Neutron torpedoes, neutron torpedoes. You know what? It's the end of the episode. I just don't care. I just don't care. I want to get back to the fun part of the game. You know what? That's the thing with all of Alcat's games. The fun part of their game is the party-based stuff. Because it's a party-based RPG. The fun part in Kingmaker is going through the maps with your party and engaging in all the different encounters. The fun part of Kingmaker is going through the map and engaging in all the different encounters and going to the various dungeons, because they made some killer Wrath of the Righteous. In Wrath of the Righteous, they made some incredible dungeons in that game. That's what I love about playing it. And in this game, great dungeons, great companions, great turn-based combat. And then they want to distract you with the shipbuilding thing that is currently broken. I mean, ship combat thing, not building. God, I wish there was shipbuilding. That'd be cool. It's like Starfield. The best part of Starfield is the shipbuilding, and everything else is just busted and boring. Okay, so folks, next episode, we're leading into Chapter 3. This is where it goes. It's a fun time. It's a chapter that I did not like the first time I played it, and now I really like it. It does have bad game design at the very beginning of it, which is what turns a lot of people off from it, I think. But it ends up being fun, and it ends up being a nice respite from the rest of this. There's no ship combat. There's no dealing with colony management. There's no rumors. There's no contracts. It's just you, and you very quickly need to reassemble your team, and then it's all combat and questing, which is really fun. It's a great break from the larger part of the game, I think. And it's necessary. At this point in the time in the game, we're 60 hours into it. Having a break like this is really good. My only issue is I have to figure out who to take. I have to figure out what my team is going to be. Because this part is easy. It's me, Cabela, Pascal, Jai, and the Navigator. Those 5 are set in stone. Then for number 6, it becomes, do we take... My options really are Yurliet, Idira, Argenta, because Argenta can do some serious damage in this chapter because of the way there are a lot of enemies that take up 4 squares and are very big, and she'll get a chance to do a lot of damage that way. Heinrichs would also be good, but I kind of already fulfill his role. Yurliet has the weapon to do damage to Drukhari, and you're going to be fighting Drukhari. And of course, Idira just being able to pyro things and buff is really nice. So it's a matter of who do we take. I'm probably going to take Yurliet. I think it makes more sense for the story. But that's where we're going. Everyone, thanks for watching. You know the drill. Questions, comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. We're going into chapter 3. Let's have some fun. Happy gaming, everyone.